We may not be alive for long, but we are live. Is this thing going? Okay, it's finally showing up on my end. God, my computer's that's 10 seconds we've been on the air. My bad, y'all. Well, I don't know. Imperfect beginnings. This is going to be a crazy show. We've got a lot of stuff ready to come at you. We have some new segments we're going to introduce. We talked to you a little bit about them last week, but we are ready to blow the whole world up, just like the globalists do. So let's go. No, I'm just joking. We're not going to blow anything up, but we're going to blow this show up. Query and Anarchy, back at it again. Monday Night Free for All. Let's get it.
I don't know what's happening, Chad, but
Chad, are you alive?
Yeah,
but
Chad, wake up!
I'm alive.
Oh, okay.
I hear myself. Do y'all hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you.
All right, I got the Voltaire quote up. I'll go ahead and read it. All right, it is forbidden to kill, therefore all murderers are punished unless they kill in large numbers and to sound of trumpets. Again, that was Voltaire.
Is that possible?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do you kill to the sound of trumpets?
Or yeah.
Yes, they do. Also, they do a lot. That's what war is.
Right. For sure.
All right. So, Marcus, we already talked about this. I'm having issues. So, if you can drive, that would be great.
Okay.
And I'll hopefully my internet connection will catch up here shortly.
Right on. All right. So this week, we're going to be, as Chad said, introducing a few more or at least one more segment, but that'll come later. Right now, kind of what the show is going to be talking about is war and the media's inability to talk about it. But before we get into all that, Nicco, how you been this week?
I'm alive. I'm solid. And well, getting packed on and piled on with like a lot of new assignments, but nonetheless, still chugging and plugging and mind my business, head out the way, and head on the swivel. How about you guys? How y'all been?
Chad, what you been up to?
Busy as hell and apparently fighting a crappy internet connection. Otherwise, good. Nice. LSU won this weekend, so that's good. Shout out to all the football fans out there. I know y'all love it.
For sure. Yeah, watching the Hoteps today because we were preparing for later segments, and they mentioned somebody from Louisiana. I was like, hey, don't be dogging on my guy. Oh, you're not talking about my guy. But yeah, I had a great weekend. I did very little, and which is not very common for me. I got to sit back and rest. We did empty out the water in our hot tub and reinvigorate that, which is nice because it's been like about 6 months since we got the hot tub. So the water, and it was good. Now my hot tub's inside, so it didn't get a bunch of crap in it, but we managed to get that redone and work on the house and all that crap. But largely did nothing, which for me is out of the ordinary, and it was a welcome time. So that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, so let's kick things off. If y'all can hear me and everything's coming through a little clearer now. I'm still seeing jittery on my end. I may have to reset this computer at some point, and but not during the show. We'll just ride with what we got. So Marcus, you know, every week we go through like kind of what's going on, but also like what's going on like with us individually, and so there may be a trending topic that we want to cover. But there also may be just something that's weighing on us that we want to talk about. And I think this one kind of both of those two things connected, at least with you. And so I'll give you this opportunity to basically tell us why this topic came to your attention as something we should discuss, and what it is, what the topic is, and then why it's so important to you.
Yeah, Well, first of all, what we're talking about, I called this media blind media, and the reason is because they seem to be like John Travolta in that meme that we see, just walking around. You're like, what's going on? They're like, the world is about to be set on fire, and these motherfuckers have no idea. They're like, I don't know, we're talking about losing a jet, and we're talking about these are the people you want in charge of your defense, is the people that can manage to lose an $80 million fucking jet. But beyond that, what I'm noticing is I'm hearing some very serious like stories coming out of foreign media, because I pay attention to a lot of different media and I pay attention to a lot of different voices. And what I'm hearing from the Russians is that we're on the brink of nuclear war. We are, and I don't say that lightly. We're not like almost there. No, 2 weeks ago, they mobilized a nuclear weapon and sent it into combat. Now, most people don't realize that 2 weeks ago, they put a ICBM into service. And it's funny because I had to do some research for this, and you guys will see there's a bunch of things linked below. We don't always have links, but I did my due diligence, if you will, and I looked up a bunch of stuff. And 2 weeks ago, they moved the Satan II rocket to active duty. Any other media outside of the United States, they define that literally as a nuclear weapon. Our media says it is nuclear ready. Yeah, because it's got a warhead on it. That's what makes it ready. And we keep talking about that, by we, I mean the United States media, which I have no part of, but the United States media keeps saying we're winning, or the Ukrainians are winning. Let's be clear. This is not a situation where the Russians lose. The question is not whether or not Russia will win. It is whether or not Russia will use nuclear weapons to do so, because they will and have said so. This isn't anything new. This isn't anything that should be shocking. But yet, they're talking about people twerking on the goddamn music awards as opposed to, hey guys, you might want to kiss your wife because we're closer than we have ever been before to nuclear Armageddon. Now, lots of people are going to say you're overreacting. Do the research. Go look. Go check it out. I strongly suggest you check out, I don't know, the words of the Russians. Like, for instance, and this, cite my source for this one, this is antiwar.com, which I wholeheartedly suggest anybody, if you're going to look into domestic, particularly foreign policy stuff, that's where I would go, is antiwar.com. But the Russian foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, said, and I quote, the U.S. is waging a proxy war in Ukraine against us.
Of course.
When you ask the Russians, again, citing my source, antiwar.com, when you ask them, they are already at war with us. And we're not talking about the Russian people.
Right.
We're talking about Russian leaders.
Yeah. Well, so just to put this in perspective for everybody, and this, for all the people who are, who have the little blue and yellow flag in their bios and everything else, because they're trying to show their support for some stuff they have no idea what it means. They're completely clueless. Imagine, if you will, that, I don't know, Mexico decided that they were going to start fighting for the state of California and Texas, but they were getting all their weapons and funding from the Chinese.
Right.
How would the U.S. take that? Would they just be like, oh, look at Mexico, they're just Mexico's getting frisky. Let's just fight. No, they'd be like, we know where this is coming from. We know who's propping this up. And we know that they're trying to destabilize and weaken both economically and militarily and everything else. Like this is like textbook proxy war, and NATO is just like they're sending all their stuff. And I know this may be the one that gets our channel banned. I don't know, because we are saying some things you're not supposed to say. About the crane of the female sheep. Anyway, Nicco, without Marcus bringing this to our attention, like I don't think I probably would have been any more the wise. Would you have you been hearing anything about this, or would you have even been aware of this?
Can't hear you, Nicco. Still can't hear you.
What about now?
Yeah, barely.
Turn it up.
No.
We can hear you now.
Go.
You're echoing.
All right. Well, am I echoing still?
No, but you're also not as loud.
Yeah.
Instead of a bitch. All right. Guess I have to put my headphones on. But if y'all can hear me, I wouldn't have been aware of this shit at all. Marcus brought it to my attention, and this is not something that they're about to tell the American people. Hey guys, what's up? It's America. We're about to possibly witness some crazy shit. So I hope you guys are ready. Yeah,
I kind of like the echoey, Nicco.
Yeah, turn it up. Turn it up.
Would you like me to talk like this?
No.
We represent.
Majority of the people wouldn't be aware of this, and I'm gonna find these. Majority of the people wouldn't be aware of this. I wouldn't be aware of this. I was living my day-to-day life worrying about my girlfriend yelling at me. So, like a nuclear war and a fallout is like it's present and like prevalent, but like you have to understand, even kids of my generation, like they'd be like, "Oh no, a fallout." Then they make jokes online, and then after the jokes hit online, our ass to sit around and be like, "Oh shit, there was a nuclear fallout." Like they wouldn't be prepared. No. So you bringing this to my attention is just goes to show how much of our real news circulates around if you don't go outside of American sources.
That's why I wore this shirt, man.
Facts. Yep. Yeah, facts for sure.
Although I don't know if it's the most, but it is one of the very effective devils in America. For sure. I will say this though, so not to be that guy, but I will be that guy because I am that guy.
Any better?
Can we? Yeah, that's way better.
All right,
can we say nuclear?
Nuclear.
Like nuclear. The L is before
nuclear?
The U or the E. Yeah, nuclear. Anyway, not nuclear, but I'm just. It's
nuclear.
There are people in the audience who are probably like, "Why is he saying nuclear?" Sound like George Bush, because that's how George W. Bush said it, and I think he was doing that to be folksy and to get across his folksy. Like, I'm just one of the guys. I'll have a beer with you. And we'll say nuclear.
And blow up the world.
And blow up the world. Yeah, we'll go nuclear. But anyway, no. So, Marcus, you and I were talking about this before, because you had said about how like the research that you were doing for this had gotten you angry, and apparently, one Miss Amber already headed it off at the pass. I was trying to remind you to tap into your peaceful, loving, spiritual side, and not to let yourself be driven to anger that leads you to where it's out of balance. But apparently, she already got to you and kind of had that converation with you. But let's talk a little bit about.
I tend to pay attention a little bit more.
Well, that's fine. Look, I'm not going to do anything else but say it. I offer nothing. I offer nothing more. But the N-word pass, yes, it's nuclear. The N-word is nuclear. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
But so I do want to say though that when we're looking at any of this stuff, because it's really interesting. Hotep Goldstein went on the Grift Report today with Hotep Jesus, and speaking of which, y'all get ready because it's only a matter of time. You have to stay tuned because later on in the show We have a whole new segment. We told you about it last week, but it is coming. We are ready. I'm taking Hotep Jesus and Uncle Hotep to what?
And Chad froze. Looks like he's farting.
Every time I do anything over here, like, it messes me up. Taking him to Hotep Appeals Court. Anyway, they say I'm a Fed, so I'm a federal judge, and so that's where we're gonna go. It's taking him to Federal District Appeals Court, and we're gonna get into that. But no, so Goldstein was on today on the Grift Report, and he was talking about how like there's so much of this stuff that like people want the kingdom of heaven brought down to earth, but they want it done. And it's so crazy because we were talking about this. This was like part of what we discussed at the Divine Liturgy on Sunday, just yesterday, is that one of the Pharisees tried to trip Jesus up, and he's asking him about, what's the greatest commandment? And he says, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and all your soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. And it's this interconnection of these two great commandments that basically sets all the, like, forget the 10 commandments. You can't follow the 10 commandments and not follow those two.
Same.
And people think that you can replace, you can mix and match and pick and choose which ones you want to follow. And what Goldstein was talking about was he was bringing up the temptation of Jesus. Oh, wait, that's what's going on. Okay, I think I figured it out. Anyway, the temptation of Jesus by Satan, where he's like, "Hey, I'll give you all this, and you just have to bend the knee to me." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "No, I'm good." I'm good. My kingdom is not of this realm. This is a whole different ballgame. But I think a lot of people, you think of what the people in Jesus's time. I'll just say that word, or I won't call out Jabari's people. But the expectation was that the Messiah was going to be an earthly ruler, an earthly king that would deliver them from bondage, and that was not the plan. That was never the plan. The plan was, the separation of God's people in Eden from paradise was meant to be reconciled and to be a heavenly kingdom, not an earthly kingdom through like dominion over other people. It's supposed to be union with God. And so when Goldstein was going into how people they want, like, that's why they fall very easily they want Trump to save them, or they want Zelensky to save them, or Biden to save them, or whoever it is, Elon Musk to save them, you name it, whoever it is, Fauci. Some people wanted Fauci to save them. It's like you're looking for love in all the wrong places. Right. And so it's just really important for us to remember at every level of this, even if we want to talk about the levels above some of the people that we see that are the puppets, we really have to realize that no one on this earth is the puppet master.
Right.
The puppet master is in a different realm. And that's where a lot of this stuff is coming from. And everybody on earth, all the human beings who we see as our enemies, who can make us angry and make us want to be, act out in violence or hatred or anything like that, they're all victims of the same evil entities pulling their strings. And we have to be careful that they don't pull ours. And we have to be very, very guarded and use our discernment to know what's what.
Agreed. And you're right. Amber, just gave me the look. And then, hey, you're fucking up, hey, this is you need to realize that, what's more important. And you're right. But what made me angry, and why I do think that it is important that we have information and we don't, is that, it is a very different thing. If, for instance, if I woke up tomorrow and tomorrow was going to be my last day with my wife, I'm not going to work. You know, that's that. You know, that's not going to happen.
But in the meantime,
right,
you got to go to work.
Right, but but
I feel you.
But it'd be nice to have some kind of idea. You know, the whole idea of having a media is so that we have a greater understanding of what's going on in the world. Unfortunately, because of the state of propaganda in this country, we don't. I cannot believe 100% anything that that I read anywhere or see on any news program, because you know the Russians are lying to us. If you listen to them, they're absolutely winning, and we're the big Satan and all of that stuff. And if you listen to the American media, well, we're just, Sean Penn's got this movie that he's put out, which I found to be insane.
Shout out to Dutch for turning us onto that clip. That was crazy.
Unfortunately, I had already seen it because that was part of my research.
You had? Okay.
Yes, and it was number one when I did my search. I did a search for Ukraine war, and it was number one. Like, it's more important to hear Sean Penn's dumbass talking about his movie as a news story, which is just an ad for his movie. It's as a news story.
Between an $80 million missing fighter jet
for sure,
and the Sean Penn movie being promoted as the number one resource when you search anything to do with the Ukraine war. This is why we can't have nice things.
Correct. Yeah. You know, because I just want to fucking know if the world's going to glow in the dark tomorrow. I kind of like to have that understanding so I can prepare accordingly.
Even if we did know that the world's going to glow up, I think that would like really enact a purge, and everybody would start acting like a dumbass right away, especially in America. Everybody's ideologies is broken. I think they're waiting for the specific time for the little magical flu to pick up and start ramping up, so everybody's paranoid again. Then they might sprinkle us with a little bit of, oh, here's the nuclear war, and then bam, everybody's panicking. Then they flip over and turn their new little switch like some hoes. So I think them not telling us certain things, it like, even though it's out there, I think them not like pushing it out there to cause panic, because what do you think they love to do? They love us ripping our own hair out.
Yeah.
All they need to do is just sprinkle some false bullshit right in front of you, and you automatically think, But even though I'm not saying that the possibility of the nukes is false, I'm saying as in like the information might be stalled out in one region or one area because you know how these testing subjects are going to react. So they might just be like breadcrumbing it over until it picks up, because there's no way you talking about nukes missing an $80 million fucking jet, you said, and then
they just misplaced it.
Yeah, you know, you just misplaced a jet because
well, I mean, they misplaced like $3 trillion the day before 9/11. So like, what, you know, shout out to that day a week ago.
So crazy how servers get fried those days, right? Yeah.
Right. So my point is that you know, they've kept us in the dark as much as they can. The entire purpose of having a newspaper, of having a news media, is so that we at least can feel like we are, you know, keeping up with what's going on in world events, so that what does affect our lives. Because I'm with Neil Postman. Most of that shit does not affect my life. Most of the stuff they cover in the newspapers and in the news media like CNN and all of that crap, that usually doesn't affect my life, because it's usually just propaganda at this point. But I also think that it would be nice to be able to you know, have, like my parents had. They had the news. They had the newspaper that they could pick up and get a semblance of the, you know, hey, it looks like gas prices are going to go up next week. Let's buy gas this week. Something like that, you know, to where it did affect their life. And, you know, when we're trying, and again, I'm an anarchist, so I don't really buy into this, but the status narrative is that we have a government that is supposed to be by the people, for the people.
Mm-hmm.
It is supposed to be that the people are deciding on policy. Well, how the hell can they decide on policy when they don't even fucking know what's going on down the road, much less in Ukraine or in Russia or in China? We cannot have an informed populace without some kind of news media. So the entire idea of a monarchy, of a limited government, goes out the window when you have no media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, but I do think so. You said something about how you'd like to know, so you can love your wife or whatever. And I'm not saying that you don't, right?
Sure.
Obviously. But I think this should be, this is why we're here. First of all, it's one of the reasons why you're the people who are, the real ones who listen to this show and watch this show. We appreciate you guys for coming to us for a different perspective from what you'll get everywhere else. But it's also important for us to remember that we should be acting that way all the time. Like, that's why some of this stuff, that's why there's so many distractions out there, is so that we will spend a lot of our time and energy and effort on paying really close attention to some stuff that keeps us from loving the people closest to us and everything. That's why I said, not saying you're not doing that or anything like that, but
I know,
but we should be doing that. Live each day like it's your last, for real. Like I'm not saying that as like a cliche. I actually mean, like, we've got to start doing the things that we've been putting off. Picking up the phone, making that phone call, or writing that letter, or whatever it is. Spending more time, putting the phone down and actually, like, looking, your wife and kids in the eye, or your friends in the eye. You see a lot of people, they're at a family gathering or something, and the whole room is on their phones and they're not even talking to each other. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you're here, but you're not here. And I do this too. I say this a lot. Most of the time when I'm talking to me too. Maybe even especially me. But it's really important for us to remember and to pay attention to that our time is limited. I was thinking about this today, actually. It wasn't necessarily related to this topic for this show. I don't remember what it was, why this came up in my head, but I was just thinking, like, like, we're all gonna die. Like, we're all gonna die. And we kind of go through life as though that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I kind of think back to, like, ancient times where death was way more prevalent, front of mind, because it was always happening, and you got snuffed out for all kinds of different random reasons.
Let's burn at the stake.
Yeah, we live in an era now where people expect to be kept alive forever.
Yeah.
And they get mad at the thought of mortality. And I get it on a certain level. But on a different level, I'm just, I'm like, man, that's probably why we suck so bad, is because we don't really take full account of how short our time here is and how little of an impact we are probably going to make unless we start doing some things very differently. And when I say little impact, I mean little positive impact. I think we can make a significant negative impact. But really, like, when it's all said and done, like, how many people from 5,000 years ago do you really know about? Like, 12?
Not even that.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe not even that. You know what I mean? Like that's 5,000 years ago. That's not even that long ago in the grand scheme of, like, the existence of the universe. Like,
right.
What are we talking about?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And I think that, though, that we are in a particularly, and I'm not saying that that there haven't been more important time periods in life, or in existence. There have been, but I do think that lots of people want to think that we're in such a pointless existence.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to disagree.
No, definitely not. I think it's pointless if we make it pointless by wasting our life away.
Right. We have the technology and the capability today to make impacts one person that entire nations could make in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have the ability to reach out and touch entire swaths of people across the globe. And we have that ability that is the media and their buddies in government are trying to snuff out because they want to be the only source.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the capability of spreading and being our own media. And that's kind of where we're going. And I realize that the media is dying. And a lot of the reasons we've kind of covered, they're not covering the truth. No one believes them. Nobody thinks that they're doing the right thing, and they don't focus on shit we care about. Like, you know, they're not telling us good things. You know, if it bleeds, it leads. They're telling us the negative, and constantly the negative. They never get into, oh, this good thing happened on this time. And if they do, it's like a 2-minute puff piece, and they get past it and they're gone.
Or it's a propaganda piece like the Sean Penn thing that we saw.
Correct.
Where it's like it's paid for by Lockheed Martin and Raytheon.
Right. Right, for sure. And so again, I think that that media is important, and I think that it should not be lost on us that it is mediated. You know, I watched James Corbett's stuff on the media and how they what media actually means, mediated, you know, or separated from, and that wasn't lost on me. I understand, you know, like Neil Postman talked about, the power to disrupt that the media possesses within our lives. I get all of that. But at the same time, we as human beings, if we're going to live in such a world to where we are capable of speaking to people in Iran, or speaking to people in China, or speaking to people in Russia, if we have that capability, we should be able to trust the sources that we're coming from, or at least develop our own sources ourselves. But instead, we have voices like antiwar.com, which is censored constantly and downranked in every algorithm, and you don't see their shit come up when you Google search something. Meanwhile, they're raising all of this negative crap, all of the fear-mongering bullshit that the media wants to do just far enough so that you obey, so that you do what they tell you to, but not far enough to where you can see how goddamn incompetent they are. At the end of the day, if we have managed to lose, I like what Spike had said earlier today, you know, we should give up our guns to the government that can't keep track of a fucking jet. Right. You know, these assholes. So again, there are more important things than Sean Penn's movie. There are more important things than Lauren Boebert getting felt up in a fucking in a theater. You know, more power to her. If she's got somebody wanting to feel on her titties, oh, have at. You know, I don't give a shit, and I don't give a shit if she is in Congress. I don't care, because those people are not better than us. In fact, they are worse than us. So I don't care about all that nonsense. How about we talk about the things that are important to our lives? How about we talk about if news media is going to do their job, how about you do your goddamn job? Instead of reading a script that was given to you by the CIA, how about you actually report? Give us actual news. How about that Epstein list? Where the fuck is that at? Where is that at? Where are the coverage of who dropped the ball on this jet? Where is that? They can't find that, but they can fucking search out Boebert's titty in the fucking theater. Give me a goddamn break.
Can you hotwire a jet?
I don't know. Well, I think they actually lost it in midair because the pilot.
Yeah, the pilot ejected.
Yeah,
and so it was funny because, like, you know,
Yeah.
we've had all the discussions about artificial intelligence and everything. I'm just gonna drop this one on y'all. You know, oh no, AI is great. Like, it's great. Yeah, AI. Maybe it tricked that pilot into thinking that the plane was crashing.
Mm-hmm.
So he ejected, and now the plane's like, ha, got him.
Got your ass.
Right.
And the plane's just like, it's going. ChatGPT is just running around,
Right.
going to see what it can see. You know, what's funny too is, like, we don't know where this jet is, but we tracked the whole spy balloon all the way across the country.
Yeah, for sure.
And they never said, like, hey guys, we need your help. Can you help us get that thing down? Like, no,
Right.
but they want Billy Ray and Francine to go. I don't know what they're supposed to do. Fly a kite up there and catch it. What are you supposed to do? Like,
Fishing line.
they put the thing out, the tweet out, and said they're asking for help for this, and Cooley Bravo was like, "Fuck, are we supposed to do?"
Right.
But I just want to read you. You were asking about, like, how about the media does whatever. Like, you're expecting too much, man. I'll read this quote from Upton Sinclair. It is difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on his not understanding it.
For sure.
So when you have the answer to your question is, how about you do this? Like, they'll be like, how about you pay me what these motherfuckers are paying me to say this shit on this script? Because if you're not going to do that, then I'm going to just keep reading this script because they are paying me handsomely. That's why all the stuff is sponsored by Pfizer and sponsored by, you know, all these, you know, big Bayer and
Nice little hush money. Yeah.
pharmaceutical companies and banking institutions and everything else. And then you have the other side of it, because, like, we've seen it now where you're starting to see, I will say I have seen a few people starting to wear masks at different places, like at work or at like a store that I went to. I'm like, okay, that guy hasn't been wearing a mask for like a year and a half, and now he's wearing one. What the hell's going on? Like, what? There's always been the people who just kept wearing them, and maybe we're even wearing them before, and it's just like, all right, whatever, bro, y'all still on it. Okay, got it. But like the people who went away and now they're coming back to it, I'm like, all right, bro, I guess they got y'all. I guess they told y'all that, like, you need to be scared of the new thing, and you're scared of it. Enjoy that. But the other thing I'm seeing is a lot of, like, fear porn from the right and from, like, anarchist and, like, libertarian type circles. That's like, they're coming with new mandates and new lockdowns and new this and new that. And I'm like, really? Like, you really think that's, like, I think what they're doing is probably they're trying to roll out another line of shots, and they know that they've got that customer base that's going to go out there, but they know that they need to drum up enough fear in them to make them think that they're the smart ones because they're going and getting taken care of. Never mind the fact that those are also the only people who I know who have said the words, I got COVID, in the last, like, I don't know, 18 months.
Right.
Like, only people I know are the people who
100%.
swore up and down that I was stupid for not wanting to do the things that they wanted us 100%. To do. Those are the people who, everybody else who I know, like, first of all, if they got sick, they're not going to go get tested for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's the point? All they're going to do is the same shit that they did if you didn't get tested for that. Like, yeah, you need to go home, rest, drink some fluids, get some vitamin C, get some citrus stuff, and, like, here's something for your sinuses or whatever. Like what do you really, what's the purpose of doing that? So I think it's that same customer base that they're just going to be like, all right, hey, make sure you go get tested. And they're going to be like, yes, sir. Coming, sir.
Yep.
You know, and then make sure you get your updated boosters. Okay. Yes. Got it. I got mine. What else do you need me to do, boss? It's like, damn, man, y'all like little lap dogs.
Wait, I know I've been, like, kind of MIA from, like, paying attention to certain media talking topics, but are they still, like, really heavily pushing this jab shit? I mean, granted, yes.
Yeah, they have a new wave of sort of like what they did, I don't know, about
like 2 years ago?
8 months to a year ago, like in the winter maybe, where they said, like, oh, there's a new variant that's coming out and it's going to kill everybody. And then it was like, nothing happened. And so now they're talking about, like, there's a spike in cases. And, like, I looked at it and it's like, there's like the mountain that was January 2022, like December 2021 to 2022 is like the highest spike of the whole time of cases. And it was exactly a year after they started putting shots in people. I'm like, well, that's funny. Like, how do you explain that? Oh, well, that's because people stopped wearing masks.
It's just a coincidence.
What? Right. What the hell are you talking about? I wasn't wearing one the whole time anyway, so I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, now you look at, so there's that giant spike like this, and then you look at the thing that they're telling us we're supposed to be afraid of, and it's like over here, and it's like, it looks like maybe there's a bruise on the ground.
Two guys got it.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
not that like a big spike would even do anything to me and scare me anyway. But you know what scares me a lot is when someone from the Netherlands decides that they think that they want to join the show and give us their perspective on this horse. Oh, I like the setup, Dutch.
For sure.
What you got going on here? He's got like his own little graphics with an inset and everything.
Nice.
That makes me want to roll up some weed.
Connection's slow as hell, but I mean he is in the Netherlands, so.
Oh yeah.
Hey Dutch, you there?
He's running on Dutch time. Give him a second.
He got a 28.8 modem.
Right. Funny. So while we're doing that,
well, anyway, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna put him down and time out until his connection improves. I'll be able to see it down there.
So I had erased this. I'm going to bring it back up now. The answer to who's doing all that is stupid people. Stupid people are doing all this shit. They're the ones that paid attention to this asshole. I think this meme hits it, and these are the assholes that chose this asshole as their leader. Do the liberals who are constantly telling everyone that they know everything that is good for the world and are way smarter than anyone know that they chose this guy, picture of Biden, as their leader? Evidently not.
He says picture of Biden for the audio only audience.
Right.
I like that. I dig it. Look, so I got to bring this up. So Hotep Dutch says, this was a little bit ago, but he says gray hairs are silver medals. All right. So I like this. I like this. The silver medal thing. I guess if gray hairs are silver medals, then Marcus and I are the Michael Phelps second place of hair growing, I guess, or something. I don't know. I've got a world record for silver medals. But yeah, I like leveling up to get silver medals. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm doing, because hair of the dog said I don't get old, I level up. Like, all right.
That's right. That's right.
I feel you.
Yeah, for sure. And hey, man, I think I'm skipping right past silver and moving into white. Yeah. Well,
so while we wait for Dutch, let's just go ahead and get this thing knocked out, because there he is. Let's see if his connection's a little better. Yeah, it's a little better there. I think he had to get rid of the graphics because it was
hey, Dutch.
We both added him at the same time.
Yeah, what's up? I was trying to be fancy.
I know, we liked it, but it didn't seem to work.
So you were telling me you were working with some OBS stuff. I will say this: OBS is very, very resource intensive. So you're going to need like a high powered machine. That's why we use StreamYard, because I didn't have the computer to be able to handle OBS and all of its bells and whistles.
So I guess, Dutch, one of the things I'd like our audience to hear from you.
I have to shut everything down.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think he's a little bit delayed.
Yeah, it's a little choppy, but I can hear you. I'll try to follow.
Okay, cool. So basically what's going on is we've given an American view of what's going on with the media. Obviously, Hotep Dutch is from Netherlands, or lives in Netherlands, and I'd like him to give his perspective. I get that they're still Western Europe, so they have a lot of the same opinions as Americans do, but I'd kind of like you to kind of give what you're seeing as it applies to media and the involvement with the Russian and Ukraine war. What are you seeing?
Well, it's very similar to the. I mean, I guess it is the Western media. It's part of it. It's very similar to that in that respect. What is particular about it is that the Netherlands has a history with Russia regarding the MH17 flight that was a commercial flight that was down in Ukraine, and there was some controversy as to how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You're glitching a little bit, bud.
It's very interesting, though, in the context of we've got a
So
rogue plane flying around.
That's a way where it gets the people really in propaganda, but there's a lot of attachment to the Ukrainian people from the Dutch side, whether it's I don't know how much I would say, because it's very biased how one should think about it here, but it's very obvious, you know, that's it's supposed to be a free country, but if you only dare to say, you know, you have a problem with it, you will be looked at in a way. As far as what is going on itself, as far as the international relationship, as we know, England already pulled out of the EU. So now the really the big force that we're looking for, that we're looking at, is the US, and that's one party away, the Republican Party, from in the world's view, from them pulling out of the whole thing. So if that happens, you know, what's going to happen with the EU as far as them backing a country that isn't even in the EU? So that's how I see it. That's not how most people see it. Most people see it in the way Sean Penn is describing it. Sean Penn made a movie about it. Here they made a song about it. Maybe already about a year or two ago, they made a song about a small president trying to save the world. The song says it's talking about a child, but we know who the small president is.
Right.
So, I mean, he's still a child, but he's
was that choppy?
He's only a mental child.
You were choppy here and there, but I think we gathered.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, no, that's good. So that's interesting, because that whole dynamic with the UN, the EU, and NATO, like you have this like mixing and matching of all these different countries and alliances that kind of they strategically position themselves sometimes as allies, and then sometimes as opposition to each other, depending on the topic and the grift of whatever period that is. You know, you remember like the Iraq War and Afghanistan wars, you had some folks in the UN and in NATO that were like, no, we're not, that's not our thing, that's your thing. And then the US had to do their whole like Bush built his little alliance with different people, Tony Blair and Great Britain and some others. But it's interesting how now I thought it was crazy that the clip that you sent us with Sean Penn talking about his movie, it's coming out, like, was it today or is it next Monday that it's supposed to come out?
Today.
But anyway, he's got it like simulcasting
I think it was today.
on like Paramount and all these different networks, Vice and everything else. And he's talking about all these different major corporate media sponsors that are giving him the green light to simulcast this thing. And meanwhile, it's also going over and being shown in the Ukraine to the Ukrainian people. And it's like, okay, here's a big propaganda piece. By the way, never mind the fact that we're using U.S. cannon fodder because we don't want to send our own troops over there. And we're just gonna fight this thing down to the very last dead Ukrainian. And like, it's like, but hey, we're on your side, remember?
Right.
Like, what? Okay, that's weird. Like, imagine if the first Iraq war with Kuwait had been like, we're just gonna give Kuwait a bunch of weapons, but we're not going over there. Good luck, Kuwaitis. You know, like Saddam Hussein would have wiped them off the map.
The other funny thing about the union is before England stepped out, the England spoke English. It was the dominant country in it, and after it stepped out, they're still communicating in English, but there's no actual country in the EU that speaks English. So it's I think it's pretty funny when that is going on.
Yeah, you would think they'd at least be like German or speak.
Yeah, I think about that. That's so ass
but it can't. But it can't happen. It can't happen because they're all too proud of their language that the other wouldn't allow it. So it has to be English.
Hey, look,
it's
man,
funny
that's a powerful empire.
How that's gonna form.
It's a powerful empire. If like centuries after your empire supposedly collapses, you still have the whole world speaking your language.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny how they stepped out right before this happened. So they're just looking from the sidelines, like always.
Quote unquote.
That's an interesting thought. Would you say, Nicco?
I said quote unquote until they want to join, and they're like,
oh, right.
Those niggas stole my lunch blocks last year.
Right, they're gonna join at the right time.
Yeah,
they can join at the proper time when they feel like it.
Jump in there and get a shot in and be like, I told you, bitch.
Jabari got facts though, right here. British banking.
That's right. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's the empire I was talking about. But Jabari had to just say it by name. All right, go ahead, man. That's your people, Jabari. We already know. You're not fooling anybody. Oh shoot,
for sure.
Man.
Well, thanks, Dutch, for the.
So I wanted to give.
Sure, go ahead.
I wanted to give a little pushback on what you on the media, the topic, media, because I mean I agree on what it's doing, but as we're talking about institutions, it also has a purpose of being a broadcaster, and I think what we need to consider as being a broadcaster is you have the responsibility of all ears are listening, your friends and your enemies. So it's at the least, if you're going to tell the truth, it needs to be coded. Otherwise, and
I push on that. Sorry, I got to push back on that. Like, you can attempt to code it all you want, but sooner or later, the kid's going to find out that you're spelling candy. You can try all you want. Hey,
if that's what you're selling,
to over there, and that nigga's like, I know that package right there, but I don't know what they're talking about. But I see it. Like, then they'll pick up with the context clues. I think there's a time and a place, yes, when you want to hide things, but like, there's no hiding shit now.
Besides, with the incompetence of this fucking government that we're talking about. Yeah, but the incompetence of the government we're talking about, let's be clear, they can't hide anything. They lost $80 million fucking jet.
That's how they hide it, Marcus.
Right, they put it in the jet.
Just like they hid the like I see, like, so I know the old trope is that don't ever attribute to like conspiracy or sinister planning or whatever what can be described by incompetence. I get it on a certain level, but I also, when you step back again and you go to that ultimate highest level in the spiritual warfare realm, what can be cloaked as incompetence is often like a wolf in sheep's clothing. That is something much more sinister. A lot of time, it's very funny to talk about how they lost $3 trillion the day before 9/11. Not so funny when you realize that 9/11 happened the day after and they never found it. You don't just lose $3 trillion.
Right.
They hid $3 trillion.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And as soon as there was a dust up about like, hey, where'd all this money go? They're like, look over there forever. Right. Look over there forever. Never forget.
And then forget about it.
No, never forget. Well, yeah, never forget that, but forget this.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Wow. That's wild.
So again, Dutch, I appreciate the Western European ideas and and point of view. I think it's a good time now, Chad, if we want to shift over into something a little bit lighter.
Yeah. So Dutch, you want to stick around and watch Hotep Appeals Court? You can make your exit whenever you want, but you can stick around and watch Hotep Appeals Court because it's time.
I'll definitely stick around in the chat.
Okay. All right.
Love you, brother.
So here it goes. Are y'all ready?
Stay
oh wait,
free.
shoot! I gotta
Stay
share
free,
this.
brother.
Yes, that's indeed. Thank you.
Hello.
Stay free. All right. So it is time, ladies and gentlemen. It's a new segment. We are bringing it to you guys now. It is Hotep Appeals Court.
A gavel? You have a gavel? Anybody?
Yeah,
Am I still like messed up? All right. Well,
no, you're good. I can
okay,
hear you, Chad.
okay. Well, all right, that's good. I'm trying to. I keep forgetting to actually hit present on this thing so I can share the screen, and I keep just clicking on the tab, and then I have to get back into it. And my computer's acting so idiotic today.
Yeah. So let's hope it plays.
Absolutely.
You're freezing up, Chad.
because I'm trying to do something.
Or
Do you see me now?
something like that.
No.
Mother.
All
All
right.
right. Well, it's
Here we go.
trying. I apologize, everyone. I will try to do better next time. We're going to have this right next time. So if you were watching, they had Hotep Court last Thursday, and Hotep Jesus and Uncle Hotep went to the ring, went to the mat on this. Unc was caught. Well, I'll just play the video for you. Here we go.
We have several charges being brought up against the assailant today. The defendant, Uncle Hotep, is being charged with a 1 aggravated thirst trapping, 3rd-degree simping, excessive simping of a pog, lewd and lascivious pogging, aggravated pog slamming. It's flagrant behavior. I'm going to go ahead and put on your screen right now the evidence, and you'll see it in just a moment.
So he brings up the clip or the
Here we are.
evidence. So this is Susanna Gibson.
And we had
She's
a
the
Democrat
woman running for
decide to run
Congress,
for office.
and she
Come to
had
find
like
out
the
this
OnlyFans
Democrat,
account
as
with
we
her
knew
husband and
from the beginning
everything,
of this
doing
episode.
lewd sexual acts for money.
God bless
And
her.
Partaking in
and then
adult content.
Unc was following her, so that was
Okay,
the
explicit
evidence
adult content
against him.
And
So I don't know why it took
that
him this long to
individual
get to the
has
get to the
Twitter
part
account,
where he
as you see
actually
on the
scrolled
screen,
down and
Susanna
showed that
Gibson.
Unc was following her. But I'm going to let it happen. I'm going to let it get there before
When you click on her
before I move
profile,
on.
it's going to tell you
I have some
who
other
the people
evidence
you
I'd like
have in
to
common
bring to
are
the
following.
to the court's attention as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joey, do you know who is also
And
following?
I've got to get it to where I can
Susanna
actually
Gibson?
hear this because I can't hear it.
You better.
Even though y'all can, and that's
Uncle
really frustrating
Hotep.
for me.
There he is.
I used to be able to
Uncle
hear this stuff
Hotep
when we would play
swiftly
audio in here.
following
I
the
gotta fix
Paul.
that. But
Yeah, I don't
anyway,
know why.
yeah. So there it is, followed by
You
Uncle
give it
Hotep.
no
You see
time.
it. You see it. It's right there
The
for you.
thirst has consumed him.
Now, what we have since
New
then.
evidence.
Hang on, bro. This is all right, man. I this is such poor execution. My computer is just hating me. So here we go. So it's Hotep Appeals Court. The appeal landed on my desk, and I gotta bring up both of them on charges. Unc is definitely guilty, but this is kind of like when the DEA is full of a bunch of crack addicts, and like you got somebody who is out there guilty himself, of
Right.
excessive purgatory. Oh shoot, I gotta pull the picture up. I don't have it in here. See, I got
Yeah.
distracted before the show started, and I didn't add it. I'm gonna
While
add
you're
it. You go
doing
ahead
that-
and you go ahead and start riffing. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, when I was watching this, I was like, Wait a second. Wait a minute. Where is HJ from like the last 6 years drooling over some of these women?
I will tell you exactly where that motherfucker was. He was right here, front row, with Lauren Boebert and AOC.
Right, faux show.
Sitting at the movies, trying to get his pogging on. You're not slick. Like, y'all are both guilty.
Right.
Wait, y'all both
drifting too close to the flame.
For sure. Yeah, that's what I immediately thought. I was like, wait a minute. Wait, I remember AOC. I remember. Now, it can be argued she ain't a white woman.
I mean, she may be of the fair skin descent, but that doesn't mean that,
and look, I got to bring this up. So Steph Colonel says Unc was doing research. So Unc is getting, through this appeal, Unc is now getting an extra charge of perjury for this lie that he was doing research. Like, give me okay, let me guess. You read Penthouse for the articles too.
Right.
And Playboy. Yeah, okay, come on now.
And
the charges were a little excessive. I mean, he piled too much on there. He had too much dip on the chip. But I still think even after some of that miscarriage of justice took place, when it lands on my desk, we have, first of all, we have the charge of perjury that has been added to the docket for Uncle Hotep. But then I also want to bring up that on Uncle Hotep's side, so like HJ is guilty as hell of just like a complete miscarriage of justice, because he is one of the worst when it comes to just simping and thirsting and you name it all over the timeline, especially over AOC. But now he's got like this competition between Lauren Boebert, and I'm always going to call her that now, and AOC. But here's the other part. Uncle Hotep, who's the first one to say, bring out the German shepherds and the fire hoses? Uncle Hotep.
Yes.
Every single time, he's the one who says that. But then when the charges land on him, now it's like, oh, this is a miscarriage of justice.
Research.
This is the systemic racism in the system. You know, like I'm a victim of this oppressive Joe Biden 94 crime bill and all that stuff. Like, what? You didn't give a shit about the 94 crime bill 5 minutes ago. What are you talking about? Get the hell out of here. So I'm bringing them both up on appeals charges. They normally when you appeal, you have a better chance of getting like a not guilty verdict, or the judge just upholds the previous verdict. No, they're worse. They're more guilty than they were before. Of course,
other charges added.
Of course, he slid into her DMs. We remember that. We are not blind to the grifting, the simping, the thirsting, the pogging, all of it.
For sure. And don't get me wrong, I understand the attraction to the Booberts. I really do.
I get it too. I get it too.
I get it. But I am a man. I do have those kinds of urges. I get it. But to try to don't get me wrong.
Bring another black man down.
Right. Bring a black man down. Power to the people. All I'm saying is, come on, motherfucker. You have been doing this shit since I have been paying attention to your show. And you're going to try to bring Unc down for it too? Oh, hell no. But I do agree with Chad that we need to add some charges on here, because he was lying through his teeth about some doing research.
I'm this close to disbarring HJ. He's gonna be removed from the bench if he's not careful.
Right.
As the third judge that's residing on this, because I got dragged into this shit. Yeah, y'all both caught. Y'all both like white women. That's your fault. I was thinking with the wrong head. I thought y'all was supposed to be strict, tenacious, disciplined men. What are y'all doing? Y'all are not doing what y'all supposed to be doing. But I see no evil or hear no evil. So I mean, hey, like, if a titty out, man, you gotta appreciate a titty, man. How you get here without no titties, bro? White, yellow, green. All in between. You got to appreciate them.
Hey, and just going a little bit off the script, I do have to say though, I'm with, because it was involved in that conversation too. I'm with HJ on the rap subject though. It is a male thing. It is male energy. I am with him 100% on that.
Everything he said was exactly true. That like the best female rappers are lesbians. It's like
right, for sure.
It's like
so maybe
maybe
we can give him like a nod from the court for his wisdom as it relates to the masculinity of rap.
That's right.
But the masculinity of HJ was following some white titties around all year.
Oh man!
There's a reason why there's a lot of civilizations that fell due to the power of the titty.
Oh yeah, oh for sure.
The snowy mountains of Bubertia.
Yes, for sure.
White titties have been causing fucking mayhem for a long time. Y'all need to stop it out here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, white titties blind you. They take them up.
Oh my gosh! It's like
the
the scene from Dumb and Dumber with Lauren Holly, and when she opens up her shirt and it's just headlights, and he's like about to crash the car because he's sleeping while he's driving. Oh shoot, man! That's it. All right, well, I don't have anything else, but these guys have charges that they will be hopefully answering to come Thursday. So
for sure,
we'll see. I'll send it up to them because we might get a little brief appearance on the Best of the Internet tonight when they release that one. So I'll see if I can get it to them in time.
Cool.
But yeah, gentlemen, thank y'all very much for joining us, gentlemen and ladies out in the audience. And Dutch, thank you for coming up and joining us on screen. It was good to have your insight, from over there in Europe. And we look to keep doing that. We're going to have, anybody, if you want to do what Dutch did today, we have our Patreon chat where Dutch is a member of that chat on Telegram, along with Tim and Jimmy and Brody. And I'm trying to think of, there's a few others that the names escape me at this moment. But
got them
anyway,
the major talkers.
Jump in there. Yeah, those are the people who are talking most of the time. $5 a month. It's not that much. And you get to join into that chat. And then we also, we send the invite link into there to where when we have one of these discussions, you can come up and share your thoughts. So the link to the Patreon is in the description below. Don't forget to share this with people. Of course, share the Hotep Appeals Court segment with people. Tag HJ and Unk in it. And we would love to have as many anarchs join the group of us as we can. Sure. So we appreciate y'all for joining us this time. And Marcus, you want to send them home?
Yep. And don't forget to stay free.
Peace, y'all.